Good. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Get all set up here, so I don't have to do as much fumbling around when I get started. Salam alaikum. The greeting is to your spirit, not to your religion. I is the I inside. A greeting that can be given to any dark-skinned, broad-nosed, thick-lipped, and furled-haired human being on planet Earth, regardless of his or her religion. My first statement that was to come out of my mouth was to be a quote from a song that I heard a portion of. Everything must change. Nothing remains the same. The old become the young, become the old. Mysteries must unfold. That's where we are in 2003. The unraveling of the greatest mystery on planet Earth. The mystery of the hidden God. Any scripture, any religion will acknowledge the fact of that great mystery, because to date, that mystery in the annuals of theology, in the halls of religion, that mystery has yet to be unveiled, even as we speak. There are three missing keys in, quote, Black America, Negro America, North America: identity, self-knowledge, and self-revelation. With those three central keys, you are then armed to unravel the mystery of God. The Moors, when I say that term, I'm making reference to the studious Moors of this recent antiquity, contemporary, those who were about the business of finding themselves, walked off and left the manuscript for that unraveling behind them, mainly because it was presented in the equation of Christianity. And for that same reason, the Muslim, whose parents and grandparents were Christians, walked off and left the book behind them as well, because they too equated it as symbolical or synonymous with Christianity, with the religion. Therefore, the delay of unraveling that mystery was postponed once again. Around 1913, a Moor of the same hue in which I mentioned, dark-skinned, broad-nosed, and thick-lipped, came forward to articulate the absentee of identity for this population of people in the Western Hemisphere. The English-speaking African Moors, a term I've added because it becomes so synonymous with our new adventure towards self-knowledge, and had been ignored even by such giants as Elijah Muhammad for socio-political reasons. And another banner had been raised that allowed for a diversion from the concept that the Moors established in the Western Hemisphere that later became equated with the religion of Islam in the East. However, what is noted when one looks and observes the crescent and the star are not on or in the Quran. Notice how I pronounce that with the flavor of an Arabic intent. Notice how I pronounce the Koran of the Moorish Science Temple. Those are two different animals that have virtually little or nothing to do with each other. The Arabian of the East would not acknowledge the fact that Islam did not bring symbology forward. In fact, it classified symbology along with the fine art of your ancestors in the desert as idolatry, as idol worship, missing the point of the knowledge of the language of Creator, which is the knowledge of symbolism. It is the Creator who put the crescent and the star in the heavens, not a man, not a religion, not a belief system. And this art is demonstrated throughout a period of every 30 days in perfect symmetry. But it was not until your parents promoted and sent forward their system of Codex Inscriptus, the essence of symbological language, was it interpreted by man to represent both woman and man. But because our given teachers were so academically ground into the European's head in one of the most important areas of human ministry at that time was theologic, that those that inherited that language promoted it and guarded it with their life, their law, and their gun, it became a belittlement in the minds of the fundamental believer in God. Consequently, it did not take part in the so-called educational system of the theology, not the Christian, but the Baptist. Nearly 85% of your grandparents and great-grandparents were Baptists. But that was predominant throughout the whole of the South. It was only until they migrated up north that they were able and had access to other denominations in that same theology. The phenomena of that is that most of those preachers, Baptists in type, became, and their grandchildren became, and their children became, sons, became Masons, which did two remarkable things. It further detoured accessibility to the knowledge that was being brought forth via the way of not Noble Drew Ali, not Elijah Muhammad, nor C.M. Bey, but by a man who is not honored very much among the secular thinkers in Black America. Benjamin Banneker Bey is a revealer of Moorish science and in part Moorish history. The chronicler of that history is another man who has yet to gain acknowledgement by the masses of people that he chronicalized, a man by the name of J.A. Rogers, one of the finest historians of our group in this country, virtually ignored by the academic school system then and now, because none of his books are a part of that collective group of texts. What I'm trying to illustrate here is the 2 steps forward if you want to know why this knowledge has been slow to surface where your hand and eye could find accessibility. One of the other major reasons and problems is that the man who stood up during a time when, quote, a nigger ain't shit existed, and there was a time when that thought existed in the minds of your parents and mine. And one of those men stood up and said he was a prophet. And he said it without credentials. And there was no academia to verify it. There was no literature to prove it. By the same token, any prophet who stood up, there was nothing to verify his statement of prophetichood, because that is not how prophets come nor how they are born. The prophet has a relationship with one, and that is his Lord. And his Lord alone is responsible for what he is given to do and the power to get it done. Noble Drew Ali reached some or near that pinnacle before he was betrayed. Now, I know there's a group of Moors out there who want to state that this man was not murdered or killed. Well, the evidence does not verify that. No prophet comes forward of his own volition and proceeds to unravel the knowledge given him and then dissipates in the midst of his work. Noble Drew Ali did not finish his work. The reason we know that is based on one concrete fact that these American Negro Moors are trying to change in a time of enlightenment. I wanted to put this up here, but I didn't want to put everything on the wall. This is the cover. Can you all see that? Yeah. Come up here, young brother. Stand on this side and hold that side. This is the cover of the Koran, not Circle 7, because Circle 7 is not on there. What you're looking at is not a circle. It is not like the brother in Atlanta mentioned, or I should say the Negro, a broken circle. I have not heard that level of ignorance in my 65 years. How in the hell can you have a broken circle? There's only one way, is not knowing what a circle is. You know, okay. Well, now hold it once more. What I wanted to point out here, if you can see from where you're sitting, you'll see 4 indentations in that geometric. One at the top, one directly at the bottom, one to the left, and one to the right, which gives you, okay, thanks. Thank you very kindly, I appreciate that. Which gives you this. If you examine that emblem on the cover of Noble Drew Ali's booklet that he prepared, a key word the word prepare differs from wrote, because the other more intelligent Moors accused the man of stealing something from Levi Dowling. Well, when you say prepare, that means you can go over there and get something, and go over there and get something, and go there and put it together. You prepared it. That's what he did, and that's what he said he did. Now, he could have falsified it and said, I wrote this. And hell, we wouldn't know the difference, no way. But that isn't what the man said. Now, the reason I'm anxious about this is because I just walked in a bookstore downtown. What's the name of that bookstore, brother?
A&B Books.
Huh?
A&B Books.
A&B Books. And up on the shelf is a Koran with a circle and a 7 on it, missing the complete message of the highest language on planet Earth as given to this man by the Creator to signify to a people lost in the wilderness of North America and still lost. All they had to do was examine it, unravel it, and begin to study. What did these Negroes do? They started accusing the man of being an astrologer. Then they started, this ain't the symbol he put on there in the first place. And then that don't mean what it says, you know. Yeah. I'm trying to give you some idea why we are late. And I think all of us know this group of people in this part of planet Earth are late in where they should be in their growth and their development. When your money supersedes your mental, spiritual, and cultural state, that means you're walking backwards. You're starting from the outside, going outside, instead of from the inside out. That's how late we are. Now, Farrakhan had the humility to admit that religion has failed us. And that's a heavy statement for a preacher to say. You know? Heavy statement. Because he got to get up the next Sunday and go preach. You know? But his honesty with a people that he understood and understands to have been thoroughly duped about who they are. Not someone saying, that is not who you are. This other people said, that's what you are. You are nothing. The Ku Klux Klan teach white people that Negroes began in this country. They created nothing. They accomplished nothing. They have done nothing. That's what he told a hall full of Southern people for a number of years, and probably telling them the same thing. This is a part of your duping. If I can make an enemy of someone who feels driven to be your friend, I've succeeded in halting your opportunities for growth and success. And that satanic mind understood that. So he made you less than nothing in his people's mind, and then turned around and made you nothing in your own mind. That's what he did. That's worse than slavery. That is mental amputation. He cut off your parents' head without a knife. And they walked around as a body in a hat. Here we are in a little room dealing with the most important body of knowledge a whole people need, because we are caught up in a Eurocentric theology about the highest being in this solar system. Notice I did not say in creation. We're not dealing with the infinite. We're dealing with a solar God, one of your ancestors. You can call him whoever you want to, but you best call him my brother, if you know that he was Horus. The remarkable thing about this knowledge, there are so many places and points to start. I get confused every time I get up to a podium. Mainly because it is so thorough, so complete a body of knowledge, that it both incites, inspires, and confounds the thinker and the speaker simultaneously. That's how wonderful your ancient past is, and how remarkable your true identity is. But towards the unraveling of, we need to pick up all of the tools that will help us do that. And I mentioned to a group of brothers before most of you got here, as I have with others, your people in this part of the world, the Western Hemisphere, have one book, and one book only, and that's the Bible. I don't need to prove that to you. You can take a census if you want. Just go to 10 doors and knock on the door and ask them, do you have a Bible? Do you have a Bible? And see how many times out of 9 or 10 you get a yes. Then ask them if they have the Quran, or the Bhagavad Gita, or the Bhagavatam, or the Rig Vedas. Or maybe ask them if they got the dictionary. In this emblem that Noble Drew Ali put there, he gave human beings two concepts: the direction in which to find God, and two, the direction in which to locate the movement of the solar system under which they live. Then he gave them a complete statement of the 12 personalities on planet Earth. He then gave them, with that emblem, the key to this book to unlock the knowledge of the Son of God to the measure of the fullness of the stature of Christ. That is not Jesus, my brother. Christ is divine nature. Jesus was a man who became a divine being. This book verifies that. We're going to run through much of it until you get this sense of the significance and the difference between the ideal of Jesus, the example of the perfect man, and what made him perfect. So the argument between Muslim and Christian ceases if they both know they are looking for divine nature, and that the creator of all things and all worlds would be less than intelligent to give one religion all of the truth to one people and walk off and leave the rest of them with nothing. Who in the hell would do that? You know, I mean, you don't need to be heavy and intellectual to figure it out when you talk about creator. So if you talk about Allah and Jehovah and Yahweh, you got a damn problem. Jehovah said himself he was a jealous God. In other words, I like you, but I don't like you. You know what I'm saying? That's what jealousy says. But that's the creator? Not hardly. What this man introduced to you with this simplistic symbol was the language of symbology. Just by handing it to you. Because when you went looking for it, you would be amazed, astonished, and illuminated where you would find it. That's how simplistic that act was and is. because that is an act of wisdom, not intellect. He wasn't an intellectual. The man was wise. And a wise man doesn't speak much. He lets his truth speak for him. Some of the most brilliant black men of our time walked past that man and intellectually refused to acknowledge him because he was not a scholar, because he was not a highfalutin Negro preacher. They just simply walked past him. You see? Because they were looking for Jesus. Hear me clear. If you want to know why they missed him, and that they missed him is a fact of our history, they walked right past that man and refused to acknowledge him. Well, hell, they did the same thing to Father Divine. The poor acknowledged him because he fed them and healed them. But those that were given choice places and the fine china to eat from, that was Master's boy. He wasn't looking for anything except what Master wanted to give him. And I use that term not facetiously, but illuminatively, that there were black folks who were definitely Master's boy. They dressed like him, tried to walk like him, and tried to talk like him. Until finally, they became an interesting duplication of that white boy. And we still got them out here now. They ain't gone away. But they left us in something less than a pickle. They left us in a dark mirror where you cannot see things clearly. That's their sin in the name of God, truth, justice, and freedom. So years later, a few smart men, inspired from within themselves, and that's the same statement as saying they were inspired by God, to go find out what Noble Drew was talking about. Elijah Poole Bay was one of those smart men. As uneducated as he was, he got up off his behind and went and found Noble Drew and became Elijah Poole Bay, which was his jump and running start. Until Farad came along, and I don't know anything about Farad, so I won't comment on his works, his efforts. The only thing I got wind of in the South is that when they were having a big meeting in one of the auditoriums in Atlanta, and this little man stood up. This is after the demise of Elijah Poole Bay Muhammad, who had become Muhammad at that point, and started to speak. Everybody in the place went silent. Nobody hushed him. Nobody told him to sit down. And no one interrupted him for 2 hours. And after he finished speaking, he got up and left. And nobody got up to follow him. And later on, someone come to the recognition that it was the Master Farad. That's all I know about it. What I do know is that he was given a second level of teachings to give to the same quote, and I put it in quote, Asiatics. The reason I put it in quote is because it has never been defined to the Moors or otherwise. The closest I've come to in its metaphysical definitive, it means that which God has created. Asia or Asha The only reason Elijah Muhammad did not follow in the verbalization of Noble Ali because of conflict. The Moors in America were still out there, not as strong, of course, as they were with the Prophet, as without him. The conflict would have arisen between a second step group of Moors in America to conflict with the Moors in America already present. It made sense not to do that. So he handled them with Asiatics and Muslim. That's what evidently he was given to do. So that's what he did. So the concept, the energy, the intelligence continued, but it had its point of division, as we have seen down through our history. The most noticed one, of course, was Marcus Garvey. I'm trying to think of who was out there at the same time Garvey was out there. W.B. Du Bois. Two people wanting to help the same people. No, they didn't. They split. W.B. Du Bois called Garvey a big old ape. And that severed it. Of course, Garvey got up off of his disappointed Eurocentric ass and followed Garvey's wife right to Ghana as a verification who was right and who was wrong.
Du Bois.
W.B. Du Bois. Yes, you pronounce it any way you want to. It's still a French name, not a Negro name. See? So we don't see this coming together. You see? Then Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Farrakhan and what should have been Jesse collaborating. This Negro ran up Master's back steps to get them big bucks. And I don't need to see it. I'm talking about stuff I don't need to prove because you know about. See? He was supposed to handle the economic presentation of stock market investment with the money he was robbing the white boy of. This man went in Coca-Cola's office without a gun and got $30 million by simply telling him, well, perhaps black folks shouldn't drink Coca-Cola. And the check damn near jumped out the drawer. That's how much power Dr. King left in this boy's hands. And all he could think about was his own black ass. Yeah. Imagine any one of those two major heads coming together at any point in the last 50 years, where we would be. If King and Malcolm had lived, where would we be? I mean, if you want to understand what the division is and why it is, cut off this and this will stagger. I don't want you to interrupt me, brother. I know you got an inspired thought, because that's my intent, is to be provocative and inspiring. But I want you to hold off. I'm going to have a question and answer session, because if you get one in there, you're going to get me off track. You see, I done got way away from the circle already. But we're going to get back to the circle. But I want to read you something that I haven't done, and this is something I usually don't do on tape, is read. But this is so important that it's a must that I do this. Let me find the page here. Yeah, I got the right one there. Hold on, just bear with me a second. I'm going to be doing this periodically because I'm going to load this tape up. The definition of symbology or symbolism. The symbolism of Egypt is a scrupulous, chosen pictorial device designed to evoke ideas or concepts in its entirety, a means by passing the intellect and talking straight to the intelligence of the heart. Think about that, then you're closer to the device of intuition. Intuition doesn't always work up here. It works in here. Particularly when your spirit pulls your head down. Your heart is about to tell you something. One symbol is neither primitive nor subconscious. Symbology is a whole language that is circuitous and misleading and roundabout. In other words, the language in its entrance does not tell you matter-of-factly what it is, because the language of God speaks to you on all three levels of your nature. It speaks to your intellect. It speaks to your mind. It speaks to your spirit simultaneously. That impression often comes to you in dreams. If you are adhering to the dream level of your own mind, great wisdom can be imparted. If not, like the brother who had the insight of a horn between his eyebrows, woke up and thought he was the devil. And what he had been given a revelation was that his third eye was opening up, because he didn't know what horn meant. Horn is the extension of that particular faculty in the human body. That's why the lamb has 7 horns on its body in the book of Revelation. Okay, now let's demonstrate the language of symbology with the major key of the scripture. Minty Testament. Old Testament, New Testament. Tisti, body. Minty, mind. Old body, old mind. New body, new mind. That's what this book is about. From Genesis chapter 1 to Revelation chapter 22. It's about your nature, the nature of God, and the nature of the universe. From chapter to chapter, from prophet to prophet, including the foundation of the 12 and the 7. That dominates this manuscript. That's a Kabbalistic system of knowledge from your ancient parents in Europe. English does not begin in America. English began in Europe. Translated from the Latin language that translated from the Arabic, which your ancestors spoke and mastered in writing thoroughly. brought forward by an initiated group of Europeans as initiated Moors as Masons, got this book, this body of knowledge, from the east to the west, signed by a Mason, financed by a Mason, King James. That's how this book got over here. The phenomenon is this. Why does your people cling and clutch to this book to the point of fanatical fervor? That's a question we probably have asked, but most of it comes up negative. They were tricked and duped. The white boy took the land and gave us the Bible. Those are the political answers that I heard. Though that did happen. We can't deny that. But we need to look deeper than we are usually given view of. What's in this book that magnetized 75% of your people in this country? It certainly can't be the preacher. And it can't be Jesus because they haven't seen him. But they loved this book before they saw him. What is in here that draws them as strongly as a magnet draws a nail? When you get to those keys and the central theme, it begins to make sense. John 10, 31, 36. Many of you already know about that. That's my major verse to quote concerning that idea of divinity. And here is important, because if you're going to re-educate your people, you can't take them away from the knowledge they already believe. It has to be somewhere within the grasp and connection with what they already know and believe and understand. Otherwise, you're going to alienate more than you're going to enlighten. And of course, sometimes there's some brothers out there, you want to alienate them. You want to shove them down in a damn hole and leave them when they start throwing ignorance at you. But in John 10, 31, 36, you have a key to work with. And this doesn't always work even then. I met a sister who was a first-year student in the international ITC, International Theology College in Atlanta, Georgia. I did a lecture for their family based on their last name. And I decided I wanted to share more with them than that. So I mentioned John 10, 31 to 36, and then proceeded to read it, what I'll do now, but then I'll comment on that. John 10, 31 to 36. Then the Jews took up stones again to stone him. Jesus answered them, "Many good works have I shewed you from my Father. For which of those works do you stone me?" The Jews answered him, saying, "For a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, and because that thou, being a man, makest thyself God." Jesus answered them, "Is it not written in your law, I said, ye are gods? If he called them gods unto whom the word of God came, and the scriptures cannot be broken." The scripture he was referring to is Psalm chapter 82, verses 5 to 8. They go on in darkness, knowing nothing. Did I not tell you that ye are gods? Yet ye shall die like both men and princes. There isn't a clearer confirmation in the scriptures than that, except in Genesis 3:5, where it appears the devil tells Adam and Eve that they are gods, instead of God telling them that. Do you all remember hearing that little tidbit? Again, something that the preacher overlooks. For God doeth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Now that's the serpent speaking. It does not say snake. It does not say devil. So you need to figure out what serpent means. Very good, my brother. The concept of order is the concept that must be applied to Creator. If you're going to appreciate the knowledge of God as differing from the knowledge of men, God begins with an order. And the order he begins with is this. Jesus is quoting, God and I are one. One is the beginning of all things. In the Kemetic, as well as in the Arabic, ahad means one, means God. What is most interesting about this concept is when you pick up the dollar bill and look on the back of it, you get a verse or statement. In God we trust. And that's where most of those that I would present that to would stop. And then I'd take them back and tell them, no, that is not what it says. Because it says, in God we trust one. But the one is so enlarging that you miss the connection to the statement. That's symbology. Right in your face. Bypassing your mind. But if you had used your intuition and paused and asked your spirit, you would have gotten a revelation right then. The point of self-knowledge is what is relevant to the front and the back of your brain. The connection between you, the lower man, and the higher self, the God-man, is the language of symbology. The most immediate avenue of that relevancy is your dream sequence. But you have to sort it out. And sometimes you don't, because that's the same level of mind in which visions of truth come to and through you. The same level of mind where self-revelation is given to and through you by the faculty of imagination, a part of your intuitive ability. But you have to be paying attention to yourself. You have to be listening to the God within yourself. That's why this revelation about Godhood and the hidden God is so important. Amen. Anybody know what kind of word that is? How about Moorish? In an English Bible. Revelations chapter 3. The meaning of this particular term is found in Isaiah chapter 45, verse 15. O Lord, thou surely art a God who hides himself. There's the meaning of amen. And Christians say it after every prayer. Amen. A total Kemetic name and title. That's a very bad hieroglyphic. That's the hieroglyphic for amen. Hidden one is what Budge gives it as a definitive. Found in the text of the Bible. One thing you take note of, nowhere on here does it say this is a Christian Bible. Have you ever found one with that on it? Because it's not for religion. It's about human nature and the 12 personalities on planet Earth. So they, whomever they are, and it's almost published in every language, by the assistance of their spirit and their astute attention and search for truth rather than belief, can find their way wherever they are. Man, know you the truth, and the truth will set you free. Man, know thyself, and to thine own self be true. How many times do you think that gets preached across the pulpit? How about 0? Yeah. In terms of the intent to bring to full consciousness a body of people that the man standing up here in front of them knows that they don't know who in the hell they are. That's not a secret for him, because he don't know who he is either. The other phenomena is that every Sunday, almost a third of your population picks this book up and go to church at the same time and get up just as ignorant as they were when they said that. That's a phenomenon. That's a cultural human phenomenon. The phenomenon is that they don't have to. But the truth that they could receive has been handed to them with the cover closed. 66 books. How much is 6 and 6? Thank you. We're looking at the circle again, so-called, which is zodiac, not a circle, which is divine geometry, not arithmetic. The introduction to the system of numbers begins with what is considered to be the most important group of Hebrews in the Scripture, the 12 sons of Jacob. What I wanted to do is make reference here to a very excellent verse in Proverbs. Psalm 147, verse 4. Now, if you won't write these down, because I'm going to give a bunch of them, and I haven't done this before. But my intent is to send you off a student of yourself with orderly knowledge relevant to the central theme. And the central theme of study is self. It is not God. It is not Jesus. It is not Islam and Christianity or Hebrewism. It is yourself. What you find about yourself is knowledge. What you find out about a pencil is information. If it does not relate to you in unraveling yourself, it is not knowledge. It is merely information. I wanted to have me a reader here, but I guess I didn't deal with that. You want to be my reader here, brother? We can get to this a little faster. Turn to Psalm 187. You can sit down in the chair there. You don't have to stand up because they can hear you from there. Psalm 147, verse 4. Got it? No, I'll read this one. He telleth the number of the stars. He calleth them all by their names. Now who can do that? Can call all the stars by their names? Okay, so what we're doing, we're taking it out of the unbelievable and putting in a place of believability. If you're talking about the stars in this book, there are only 12. Their names are the names of the 12 sons of Jacob. How can I prove that? Genesis chapter 29, my brother. Yeah, sorry to keep tripping you over there like that, but I wanted to get that out there. I think I'm losing my crowd's attention here. Genesis 29. Hold on just a second. Well, first, start with, no, don't read all of that. All I want you to do is call out the names you see underlined here in yellow.
Starting from...
Wait, the first one you see.
Zilha.
Bila.
Bila. Rachel. Leah. Zilpah.
Zilpah, yes.
Zilpah.
Yes,
Gad.
No, not Gad. It should be another female name there.
By Issachar.
Issachar, that's one of the 12 tribes of Israel. I got it in my hand. Rachel, Bila, Zilpah, and Leah. Those are the 4 mothers of the 12 sons of Jacob. Notice I said mothers. Anybody know what that's symbol of? What sign? Because some of you in here, you ought to know it. Whose sign is that? How about Cancer? Raise your hand, Cancer. Yeah, I know some Cancers in there. You're scared to raise your hand. That's a sign of the mother. Jacob had 4 wives, which means the 12 sons of Jacob had 4 mothers. How many phases of the moon are there?
4.
Thank you. 4 phases. How many constellations are there in our universe? How many signs of zodiac are there? The bases. of Zodiac, and the 4 phases of the moon. The dramatization of this book is a continuous movement of that format throughout the Old Testament. But you have to read it with those keys. Otherwise, it just becomes an interesting story, or it appears to be somebody's history, which we know not, because it's not anyone's history. Anybody know what kind of word that is? How about Greek? Anybody see the difference between those 2 words? Or does anybody see that they're not different?
Same word, just mixed up?
Anagrammatic writing is not called mixed up. It's called anagrammatic writing. This is her web. Who is her? Anybody? Give me her. Who am I talking about when I say her? Speak up, somebody. How about spider? That's who makes the web, ain't it? How about black widow? There's spider. This is her web. How many strings on here? 360. How many are on a zodiac? 360. Does anybody know? No. I won't quit doing that. But that's what a Jew is. Those who say that they are Jews and are not are of the synagogue of Satan the devil. Wait, no, don't say that. We're not talking about people. That's the point I'm making. We have been misguided into dividing ourselves against another people because somebody told us that they were devils. That's called trickery. That's not the truth. Those are the ones that belong to the synagogue of Satan. Those are your dead glands. When your glands are dead, and this is a gland, brain, you belong to the synagogue of Satan the devil, because you're being guided by compulsive desire, and you're serving not God but the earth. Instead of being Lord of the earth, you're the slave of the earth, which is your body. You work for your body. You buy clothes for your body. You buy a car to ride your body to work. You getting the message?
Oh, yeah.
That's not Lord of the earth. That's a slave. A real slave is the one who serves his or her physical form. This is a vehicle. This is your vessel, your boat, not your master. You are M-A-N. And the first M-A-N is womb, man. Your mama your daughter, and your wife. So we get to the level where we're talking about the knowledge of self, and not a gospelization in and of this book. Key factor, if you're going to come to the knowledge of self, not making the assumption that you already have it and then can't explain it to anybody, and they're sitting up there with the most prized piece of literature on self-knowledge on their bookshelf or on their desk, looking real good and real clean, no torn pages, no marks, the Bible, Holios Biblos, yes, the book of fire, the book of light, the book of the sun. What I wanted to do, and I think I'm going to divert somewhat from that, I was going to unload an enormous amount of information, but I think two speakers on the same subject belabors the point, and I don't like to do that. This particular approach is supposed to lead up to the idea of the realm of the Eastern Star, not the realm of the order of the Eastern Star. The Eastern Star was in the East before anybody thought about a damn order. The key to this book is star. Somebody tell me, what is the symbol of God in America and planet Earth? Anybody? I just told you what it was. No. Yes, but how did I tell you? Bible. Thank you. That is the symbol of God. Every time you look up in the sky, you see the symbol not only of God, you see the replica of your own soul. It's what you're looking at. And where does the sun rise? Thank you. First of all, the east is the front of the body. That is the major key, because in meditation, your point of focus is here, not inside. This is where you're going to see the star that rises in the east. And the three wise men that will see it will be imagination, intellect, and intuition. Those are the three wise men relevant to your human nature. They're not talking about three people dead. They're talking about these three people. Does anybody know what that means? GEP or GPE? You're looking at it. Intuition, again. Great Pyramid of Egypt. Good. Excuse me. My fault there. Good and evil, and be ye perfect, is triune or triangle. This is not going away. This is how you overcome this. The scriptures does not say, be ye good, and it certainly doesn't say, be ye evil. It says, be ye what? Perfect. Right. Which brings you above duality. Why this building is so enormous. So you can't miss it with an airplane. And it stays in your consciousness once you get it in your consciousness. If you're open to insight, open to knowledge, your spirit not only will show it to you, if you're willing, it'll take you to it. That's how significant it is in your spiritual journey. If you're traveling east, that is. And don't knock the Mason when he says that, because some of them really know what they're talking about. And some Eastern stars really do know that they are God and goddesses. They're not all ignorant, but they ain't gonna tell you shit. And I want you to know that. The testimony is this. Ain't nobody else out here talking about what I'm talking about. Surely you don't think I'm the only one that knows this. But you got to get up off your behind, your religious behind, your academic behind, and go search for your truth. Because God ain't come knocking on your door and saying, here it is. But he will knock on your head if you ignore it. When you get to self-knowledge, you touch the soul. This is what saves you. Soul is self. Soul is God. Why is that? Because you're inside of soul, the body of light. And the body of light saves the physical body and the physical brain, and illuminates the physical brain and the cerebral nervous system while you're trying to reach your soul, transforming you into generator, operator, destroyer. But that's nobody's name. That's Codex Inscriptus. G, that's your brain, generator. O, that's your soul, operator. D, that's the destroyer, your sacral vertebrae and the fire of Kundalini that destroys darkness, ignorance, fear, ignorance, and poverty. When the Queen of the South comes up. Anybody know who the Queen of the South is? Speak up so we all can hear you, my brother. Who is the Queen of the South? Thank you. Which means what? Anybody? Thank you. If you want to know why the brother put 7 on the cover of the magazine, the booklet, hand me one of the Bibles. It dominates this book. It is one of the biggest keys in here. But he didn't say it. He just did it. Because that's what wisdom does. It just does it. Then you have to figure it out. You, the seeker of truth. And of course, your folks think that they're looking for the same truth that white people are looking for. Because good Reverend Biscuit didn't tell them you're supposed to be searching for your truth. Because he didn't have your truth. He had the same information that his teacher told him to teach. And we're in 2003. And this black man is still listening to a European teacher, master, about himself and his people. Some know better, and they're doing it anyway. Most of them don't have the slightest, thank you so much, the slightest idea of what's in this book because they didn't go looking for it. Turn to Revelations chapter 22, my brother. I got it marked in there. Just turn to Revelations 22.
Okay.
You'll see it underlined in there.
Yes.
Or read it out loud. Read that verse out loud.
And he shewed me a pure river of water of life.
Hold on just a second here. So I don't have this one marked here. Okay, go ahead and read. What verse are you reading?
You said Revelation 22.
Verse what? Look over on page, the next page to either 16, 17, or 18 to see it marked where you see morning star. You see it there? 22.
Yeah, 22.
Okay, hold on, let me check my notes here.
Okay.
I don't want to misdo this, otherwise I'll be... Hold on just a second. Okay, hand me that one. Okay, it didn't escape me. Let me hold on just a second here, because I can't proceed without bringing up that particular verse. Revelations 2:28. Let me see. That's where it is. Revelations 2:28. And I will give him the morning star, is the verse I was trying to find. Because I'm supposed to verify this information, not just mention it or talk about it, but to make some reference to it being there. That these two symbols of the circle and the dot are representing the same concept of God. And the geometry of the star are the 5 points of the powers of projection: the head, the hands, and the feet, which of course is where you get ALLAH from in terms of English letters in that anagrammatic construct of man in and as God. The other major factor concerning star in relationship to man is found in the book of Revelation in terms of the 7 stars mentioned in the book of Revelation. Those 7 stars equate with what is called your 7 spiritual centers or chakras that come on like lights reminiscent of starlight, which is not this, is not the relevancy of a star in divine nature or in physical nature. This is. This is. That's what we view when we look at a star. The rays from that star. In terms of your chakras, in terms of your 7 vertebrae, is where you find those openings. And they shine like a star that you see out at night, in the sky. They shine the same way within yourself. That doesn't mean that the light that may spill over in terms of blanketing your brain or your consciousness is not the divine light. But when your chakras open, they sparkle like stars in the sky. But that's a major key in realizing where you are in your own spiritual growth and development. In the book of Revelation, you have a cadre of 7s in reference to your spiritual nature. 7 spirits, 7 churches, 7 golden candlesticks, 7 lamps, 7 seals, a 7-headed beast, 7 angels, 7 mountains, 7 horns on the lamb's head, 7 eyes, are all in relationship to this part of your physiological makeup. As it opens, the 7 trumpets are a part of that spiritual opening, meaning not a trumpet, but the musicality of the 7 chakras, which sounds like music of various accords as they go up the scale of your vertebrae, is what you hear inside, in that silence, before or after or without the lights. Sometimes in deep meditation, you will just simply hear vibration or music. When it's harmonic, when vibration is harmonic, it is music. When it's not harmonic, it is simply or merely sound. But those are the keynotes that awaken and open those chakras within your vertebrae. At the medulla, the same thing happens. The spiritual center opens with a light. Then the cap on that bulb that sits up under your brain opens and pours out spiritual energy or substance into your physical body from your astral or spirit body, which of course enhances your spirituality. The chart you see to your left side of the room, let me see if I can find the pointer here. Let me use this. Where you see these musical notes are the places where your 12 glands are in your physical body that are primary to your spiritual connection to the cerebral spinal system for those 12 powers to operate through. Those are not the only glands in your body, but they are the ones that interconnect to give you accessibility to the functioning of those 12 powers and abilities that are reminiscent of the 12 disciples in the scripture, in this code inscribed, in this metaphysical view of your physical, spiritual anatomy. Faith, imagination, zeal, love, life, power, understanding, will, and the crown center or chakra referred to as the Christ or crest or I am consciousness. That's the upper top of your brain, the superconscious level of mind or intellect, where all the right answers flow from in your physical, spiritual form. Now, I started to break down this word, K-O-R-A-N, but I don't know if some of you brothers are ready to deal with that in terms of the difference between Koran and Kiran, and why Noble Drew Ali named his pamphlet a seemingly similar name to that of Kiran, when he did not, conspicuously did not do, but gave a code that represents what is to be studied by the Moors. Again, he just put it there, didn't explain it. K is knowledge, O is order, R is rhythm, A is astronomy and astrology, N is nature. There isn't anything else to study in terms of self-knowledge. But again, he just put it there, waiting for the Moors to mature and to find it by doing what a Moor does. He seeks for knowledge and puts his beliefs off to the side because he's looking for understanding. Here on a right angle are the 12 glyphs of the 12 signs of astrology, or the 12 sons of Jacob. Here are the 12 tribes of Israel. These are not the same names as the 12 sons of Jacob. That can be grasped by reading Revelations chapter 7 after you've read Genesis chapter 49. You'll see a difference of two names. First, Manasseh is one of them. Where's the other one? Ephraim, thank you. Ephraim is the other. Those were Joseph's grandchildren, but they are among the 12 tribes of Israel. I think you already know what Israel represents in its code factor. Right. Mother, Father, God. Okay. Instead of being a Hebrew word, it is a code word that places you inside the spiritual knowledge understanding of the text of Old Testament. Zodiac and the 12 sons of Jacob represent the physical form of body. The apostles, the 12 apostles, represent the glands in this code inscribed in New Testament. So that we see a difference in the approach of the old man and the new man, the physical man and the spiritual man. Okay? And the basis, of course, becomes conspicuous when one looks, particularly when you look from your own 30-degree aspect and begin to grasp that you have certain behavioral patterns. What is key in appreciating this knowledge is everyone born under your 30 degrees essentially have the same similar behavioral patterns. What we're trying to get to is not just self-knowledge. When I define myself, I'm defining you. When I define you, I'm defining the person behind you, and so on, until I cover the circle of 360 degrees, so that we have a commonality, a basis of knowledge to begin to behave like human beings on planet Earth. But it must begin with self and the knowledge of self, particularly as you gain the power of your spirit, the power of your soul to function. The first entrance into that knowledge is your brain's ability. Those are 7 talents and abilities. For the woman referred to as the Eastern Star is found in the book of Esther. Stuff's just rolling off this table. I keep trying to use this new Bible, and I know I got this stuff marked in my old one. Esther, the meaning of the name of Esther from a metaphysical point of view. Star, the planet, Venus, happiness, and good fortune, and beauty as well. Now what I wanted to do here, let me see if I can come up on it real quickly here. In the book of Esther, the major piece of literature concerning the Eastern Star and the divine woman in the scripture, no name of God is mentioned in that book because all of the major players are gods in the book, including Ahasuerus, based upon the individual's name. What is given as a particular of order here are 7 princes and also 7 eunuchs. And of course a eunuch is powerless, where the 7 princes represent 7 principles and 7 powers in this Codex Inscriptus, and of course with the number 7. Vashti is the physical personality in that particular book, the queen. She is replaced for not having obeyed the king's command to come forward. And then, of course, further down the line, Esther is found and supplants Vashti. Vashti means beautiful one, in the physical beauty of the external woman or man is given here. These 7 princes in their names represent 7 psychic abilities of the brain. That's where the Eastern Star begins her work, with the brain's abilities and the brain's power, not the soul's power. In their initiation, they're given accessibility to those 7 powers, talents, and abilities. It's a book certainly worth reading with the keys. Contingent upon those keys, you need a copy of the Metaphysical Dictionary so that you can both view and rehearse the names that are in the book. Now, I could stand here and read them to you and further bore you to death, but I got off my theme here trying to hurdle over some other stuff in order to bring in my central concept of the Eastern Star idea. What I'm supposed to do is give you a rendering of all of the verses in the Bible that I've found that make relationships to the concept of both star and astronomy. Notice I'm not saying astrology. The logics of the stars is not the primary theme of the book. Astronomy equates to the law of the stars. Astro, star, ronomy, law. Where you find the same concept, deuteronomy, deuta meaning dual, ronomy meaning law. The law of duality dominates the book of Deuteronomy. Let me do this anyway, so that you'll have them at least on the tape. I mentioned the Queen of the South, which is found in Matthew chapter 12:43, who is the Kundalini rising up the vertebrae, attaching itself to the head. It's found in the Song of Solomon, and that's what the Song of Solomon is about. Spiritual awakening and spiritual development. Has nothing to do with romance or a love song. Exodus 28:15. 1 Kings chapter 7 verse 13 is where you first meet the Mason stated openly in the Bible as the widow's son, who is Hiram Abiff. In that book you will find, in the building of the Lord's house, you will find 12 bulls set in a circle with their inner parts turned inwardly, which means the end of. And the bull, of course, represents Taurus, which is the cycle of Taurus, not the sign Taurus, but the end of that particular cycle is what was occurring during this dramatization of the Hebrews and the 12 tribes of Israel. It is about cycles, not about personalities in that relationship. And of course, Hiram Abiff is quoted as the master builder. And the interesting thing there, we all know that a widow's son means what? That his mother is a widow and his father is not there. But what you find mentioned in the same paragraph is Hiram Abiff's father, to tell the knowledgeable reader that they're not talking about Hiram Abiff's human father or his human family. They're talking about the spiritual man, Hiram Abiff, who is the major player in Masonic knowledge and lore. It is not Jesus in the Masonic Lodge. It is Hiram Abiff. He plays 3 major parts. He is spiritual power, spiritual energy, and spiritual insight. That's the dramatization of Hiram Abiff, who is, of course, then Hiram Bey. If you look up the name Abiff, B-I-F-F, then you're able to find translated the title of Bey, which is unique, except for Balaam and Balak, the Moabites, in the scriptures. One a prophet, the other a king. One important quote I wanted to make that was supposed to clarify anything, but I got thrown out of rhythm here, and it's my fault for allowing myself to lose my temper. And I confess I lost my damn temper. I really did. But as I said, that's my fault. No one else's. I got all the notes in the world that I need. If I don't do anything else, I have to bring this up to shine further light on this concept of Moab, which has caused quite a bit of dissension among the various groups of Moors in terms of the idea of tribe. Numbers chapter 24, verse 17. There shall come a star out of Jacob, a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall crush the forehead of Moab. A scepter shall rise out of Israel. That is not a people. That's your cerebral spinal nervous system. Crush the forehead, which is what? The front of the body, where what is shown? Your third eye. This star out of Israel opens the third eye of Moab. In metaphysical language is the head. In this book, Moab is a symbolic name and term that interconnects Ruth into the Masonic order and with the female in this science. The other Eastern Star book, in this particular book, that talks about the goddess in the scriptures, the book of Ruth and the book of Esther, where Naomi is. Anybody see that word without me unscrambling it?
True.
Thank you. Anybody see anything else in there? Naomi's name. Numbers chapter 24, verse 17. There shall come a star out of Jacob, a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall crush the forehead of Moab. A scepter shall rise out of Israel. That is not a people. That's your cerebral spinal nervous system. Crush the forehead, which is what? The front of the body, where what is shown? Your third eye. This star out of Israel opens the third eye of Moab. In metaphysical language is the head. In this book, Moab is a symbolic name and term that interconnects Ruth into the Masonic order and with the female in this science. The other Eastern Star book in this particular book that talks about the goddess in the scriptures, the book of Ruth and the book of Esther, where Naomi is. Can anybody see that word without me unscrambling it?
True.
Thank you. Anybody see anything else in there? Naomi's name? Not Omni. Look again. Does anybody see the Word of God there? Thank you. Now, where is my reader? He ran off because I wasn't using him. Here, take this book again. I couldn't get to you as soon and clearly as I wanted to because I had stuff all out of order according to how I was supposed to proceed. You're looking for the book of Ruth. I'm supposed to find this stuff faster than this. I usually do. But I know my rhythm's off. You know, like I said, that's my fault, so. Mm-hmm.
Ruth's in the front.
No.
No, it's not in the front.
It's in the, after Psalms and all.
Right.
After Psalms and Proverbs.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. Look in the index, you'll find it fast.
Yeah, let me a little faster. But usually I just reach in here and turn to it. That's how I know my rhythm is off. I ain't able to do it today.
Take your time, brother.
Well, I hate to bore black folks. That's the worst thing in the world, I think, a teacher can do is lose the interest of the listener.
All right.
Hold on a second, okay? Stay up here.
Move that out of the chair there.
I still, hand me your copy. Let me see if I can, because I only want one line here. I'm not going to try to do the whole story. In this book, Ruth becomes a widow. Her husband dies. Again, establishing the widow and her son. Okay, the major key of Scripture in relationship to both orders is this concept of widow and son. In one verse only, and I'm supposed to have it marked. I got it marked in my book. I just bought this Bible here because it was so large. When Ruth and Naomi are talking, the two verses that I read is, I shall lodge where you lodge. It does not say, I will stay where you stay. It says, I will lodge where you lodge. There couldn't be any bigger key in terms of what kind of book and what the point of reference is in that particular book about Ruth. Okay, one of the major badges worn by the Eastern Star is the badge of Ruth. You know, but that's for the outsider. Okay, what we're trying to do is get to the insider in this remarkable body of knowledge. Now, what I was supposed to do was supposed to show you the 12 essences of Moorish science. And I think I'll do that anyway, so that at least you will have them. And we're supposed to give you a rundown on that construct, because in terms of this study, without these keys, the material that is available is not going to be of much help, and what you will find in the future will be of much help with these keys rather than without them. I was supposed to have all this stuff hanging up here. While I'm at this here, let me go ahead and deal with this. This is the Eastern Star. Can you see that from back there? Yeah. This is Esther in the Bible. Ishtar, Ishitar, Ishbar, Aster, Easter, Esther. In that book, the book of Esther. Okay? Look at this. What do you see there?
ISIS?
All of the three gods, goddesses of three different cultures, and the name of their goddess makes up this Greek code word, Isis. This is the mother Zodiakias, which is zodiac. In the Bible, it is Jerusalem, the mother of us all. Has nothing to do with people. With the circle of 360 degrees and 12 constellations is what is being explained in that particular verse. I was supposed to talk to you about the veil in this book. Yeah, just hold on to it for a minute. But like I said, I got my rhythm thrown off here, and it's really affected me. I don't think I've done a lecture this badly since I've been jumping up on this podium. On the veil and hidden knowledge in Scripture, 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 12 to 15. Hopefully you heard that, so you can look this up. This is a major key when you start talking to the good Baptists, and they start telling you that ain't in there. You know, I mean, part of this knowledge in terms of re-educating, not to challenge, you know, the believer needs to be right. Don't discourage the believer, but there is another level that he and she must aspire to. If they're not aspiring, walk away. Let them win the argument. There's no argument. You see? There's adherence to truth. I'm supposed to be just reach in here and grab this stuff because I've been in this book so many times. Chapter 3. 2 Corinthians. That's 2 Corinthians chapter 3. My mistake. 2. There are 2 books of Corinthians. Chapter 2. Or book 2, rather. Book 2, chapter 3. And not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished. But their minds were blinded, for until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Christ. Okay. Now that was supposed to come in the earlier presentation to let you know that the book not only is cloaked, but that the book tells you that it's cloaked. Okay. In getting to esoterica, you have to pass through the gospelization and the doctrine. And most Christians are not going to go there because they will feel that somehow they are betraying Jesus if they go beyond that point of belief. In fact, even the good preacher will tell them that they're doing so, you know, because they're fixed on a certain point of faith, and faith alone will get them there. And truthfully enough, it will, because they're going to heaven. And all you need to do is believe, let me have it, Pat, is believe and keep the good faith and do the best you can morally. Go to church, keep receiving the Holy Spirit, and when you leave the body, 2 angels will come down and escort, and that's right, okay, will come down and escort you up to the next plane. You'll still be a dummy, but you'll be in heaven. Okay, now I'm not saying it just to be humorous. I'm saying it because I want you to know there is something beyond the first level of spirituality and beyond the first level of salvation. There is the ordeal of be ye perfect going on down here, of getting your spiritual faculties open, of getting an understanding of the nature of things. And work my way through this particular book, and I didn't get to do that. And I'm saying that because I feel apologetic. I feel I've let you all down somewhat in not being able to let this thing flow the way I had hoped it would. The 12 Essences of Moorish Science. This is not from Noble Drawley's booklet. This is from antiquity. The ancient Moors, those who built the first Moorish temple, which is called the Pyramid of Giza. That's the learning center. If you want a point of where we start in this expose that taught the rest of the world truth, knowledge, and understanding, it begins with that mathematical building. Inside, not a burial place, but a schoolroom and an initiation rites room, where you literally was given the power to become the sons and daughters of God. That's where the priesthood proceeded from. The ones that went out and taught the rest of humanity spiritual knowledge, secular knowledge, that is mathematics, building, how to build a building as well, proceeded from the same place on planet Earth, from your ancient parents. These are the men and women who were gods and goddesses walking, talking with God. That doesn't mean a ghost walking and talking. That meant the one walking and talking was God. One of the names is Tehute, Lord of Wisdom. Was that More's name? The science of symbology, which we've already talked about, and I think I gave the most appropriate definitive of that concept in terms of what I read, which is not my words, but words I extracted from a book that appropriately deals with the accuracy of the concept of symbology, is why I read it. Numerology and universal law, and that's easily delivered in relationship to womb man in terms of the number 9. In numerology, you begin with the number 9 and go towards 1, because 9 is the perfect numerological number. How do we know that? Born in 9 months in a mathematical system of 9 numbers and a 0. A 0 is not a number, but a geometric configuration. 9 planets. Now here's the other 2 9s. These are the 3 major scriptures on earth. 108 names of God in the Bhagavad Gita. 72 names were in the Old Testament of the Bible. 99 names in the Quran. 1 and 8, 7 and 2, 9 and 9. Okay? That's supposed to be a circle, which is how much? And 3 and 6 is what? The perfect number. Because it circumscribes the circle, is why it's the perfect number. It is neither the beginning or the end of anything. A circle does not begin. A circle does not end. We can't make a circle. We can only duplicate a circle. Nature makes circle, not man. And there's no such thing as a broken circle. And I hope this Negro gets this tape. I might send it to my damn self. But I have some stuff in my head, just when I think about it, makes me angry. And that shouldn't be. That's why I'm suffering from hypertension and had a stroke about 6 months ago. There is an astrotheology in the scriptures based again on 12. That's the concept of the order of things in our solar system. That's where we are. We are not living in universe. We are living in a solar system. The energy we're receiving is coming from one sun. And that sun is not that big. Arcturus is 28 times larger than our sun, and it vibrates so high, its light is blue. Metaphysics, the other important key. Meta, above the physical. Actually, it means in the physical is metaphysics. Okay, everything is operated by the 7 universal laws found in the Kybalion. I mention that at every lecture. As to whether you got it or not, I just remind you that you have it. If you don't, you need a copy of it. Not Kabbalah, Kybalion. K-Y-B-A-L-I-O-N, a small blue book. It'll be the best book you ever bought in your life. Okay. Mathematica is not counting. Mathematica is the Greco-Latin word for astrology. Look it up in Catskill's Latin Dictionary. Numerus does not mean to count. Numerus means music, melody, and harmony. it means the same thing that music means. What we call numbers. And the harmonies of the universe is done by music, is still being done by music. This is a musical creation, one of order. When we are out of order in some part of our lives, we fail because we're working against universal, invisible law. Okay, I won't stop and do that. I was going to do law and wall. History, wrong concept. Records of the past is what we're looking for. That's his story he wrote. Peeping through your window, looking to see what your parents did. And he wrote it the way he saw it. We're looking for the records of the past, which are not your failures and is not the predicament of slavery, so that Negro children will stop saying, I'm a descendant of slaves. That isn't what the Scripture says. The Scripture says you are sons of wise kings. That's pretty far from a damn slave, isn't it? Astronomy, I already described that. Myth making, the story form of ancient Kemetic mythology, is the first mythology before biblical mythology. Biblical mythology comes out the volume of your ancestral mythological construct of creation and of God. You have to read Budge to get a consensus of that, but it's all there. I don't need to rehash all of that. That makes for another interesting lecture, but we don't want to deal with that right now. Scriptural symbology is different from other concepts of symbology, because in this book, these 12 names of Jacob represent the 12 signs of zodiac. The names that you see on the zodiac are the names of the 30 degrees of space as set down by your ancient ancestors. Pass it around. Take a look at it and pass it around. That's one of the few charts you have of an ancient Kemetic Moorish astronomy chart. Masonry, the science of the mother and the son, if you want a simplistic definition of Masonry, and understand something, it is a valid science. I don't give a damn how much you want to laugh and mock at it. Obviously it works. It's holding up the strongest damn government on planet Earth. And it doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's doing it. But what you need to know, it's your knowledge that they're doing it with. And you don't know what it is, and you sit there laughing, giggling, sniggling, and poking. And you're doing it at yourself. Because you ought to know what they know, so you can do what they do. They don't pay any taxes, but slaves do. Now, let me correct that. Everybody pays taxes. Ain't a damn thing free down here. If you don't pay it with gold coins, you're going to pay it with spiritual coins. But you ain't getting nothing free. You know, you're going to pay something with that body. There's a tax on the fact that you got a body. And before you drop it, you're going to pay for it. And you can't get out of it. Shit, Jesus didn't get out of it. And God said he was his special son. So you know you ain't going to get out of it. You know? So don't cry the blues when the big baseball bat hits you across your damn head. You got it coming. It ain't about being good. It ain't about being evil. It's about being human and striving to become God. That's what it's about. If you don't get beat up, if don't nothing happen to you, let me tell you a secret. God is ignoring you. Did you hear me? If he don't sick the devil on your ass, he's ignoring you. And there's some down here that he will ignore and let them kill their damn self and get nothing for it. You just leave them alone. And when that happens, the umbrella comes down. Because the Creator will hold the umbrella over you while it's raining, won't it? But you're still going to get wet. But you won't drown. But if he takes that umbrella away, oh shit. And you see it every day reported. The stuff that happens to people is so horrible. It makes you cringe just watching it on television. They ain't got no divine umbrella. Ain't nobody paying them no attention. That's what a ghost is. Won't nobody come and get them. So they stay in the house they knew before they died. Because they wasn't doing a damn thing about their spirit when they were down here. They ain't got nowhere to go. Until somebody in church prays for him. And a ministering spirit comes from some plane and takes the damn food back with him. Yeah. But that's why you want to die in bed with friend and flowers. Not by accident, getting knocked out the body and end up laying in the damn street while they come and get your physical body, your car, your children who didn't get hurt, and there you are laying in the damn street thinking you still alive, and don't nobody come and get you. And you can't find your way home if you died in Buckhead, because you never walked from Buckhead home. Yeah. You need your godhood, is what I'm saying. You need to put on the mind of God. You're supposed to strive for perfection while you got that body. That's how you grow up with the body. You're supposed to become God down here and go up there as G-O-D. Then you don't have to go to grade school and look up somebody's grandson you knew down here is standing at the head of the damn class teaching your dumb ass stuff you're supposed to learn. You know what I'm saying? You can't quit school in this creation. You go into school as to whether you like it or not. Now, which school do you want to go to? You want to go to the one where something keeps putting its foot in your ass to tell you quit stealing, quit lying, quit cheating, quit beating your woman, quit misuse. You're supposed to know that shit. Ain't nobody supposed to have to tell you to stop doing that. Your heart knows it's wrong, and it'll tell you, you shouldn't hit her. Your heart will too do that. But you, in your willful mind, have the opportunity to do what? Ignore it. So they warehouse you after so many ignorings. It's called jail. You know? Where the devil in the flesh is. You understand? Yeah. No, don't be crying for them dumb fools. They did that to themselves. Okay, let me get off my soapbox here. Codex Inscriptus, the code written into this book. That's what Codex Inscriptus means. Written into the dictionary. Written into other esoteric literature. The code written in. The 26-letter alphabet and the 9 numbers and the 0 are the basis of the Codex Inscriptus. Okay? Now, C.M. Bay understood that. The problem of C.M. Bay was not an academician. He said the hardest thing he had to do was write those 2 little pamphlets because he wasn't a writer. This man was self-taught. He didn't go to somebody's school. He sent for the books, got at the kitchen table, and struggled his way through those big, thick books with the heavy vocabulary and his dictionary, and practiced till he became a master astrologer. He belonged to the Masonic order. He had enough insight and sense to get up and go see for himself while the rest of them fools stood back and laughed and giggled and sniggled. See? You know, so he has the right to call himself the Master Mason, because he did what a master must do: seek out the truth and put it on. Huh? And this is not an academia. This is how you change your nature. Your lust is pure energy operating at the lowest chakra. It ain't going nowhere. It's coming up out of your sacral vertebrae. If I think about it, it makes me mad now. I'm going to leave that alone. I have to get ready to bring up an example. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm nervous a damn enough. I need to make myself more excited. Hold on just a second. I got another concept of, now you're supposed to see the 12 sons of Jacob's names and the 12 tribes of Israel. I'm supposed to deal with that. But what I want on this tape is enough information that sends you back to school, back to where the brother said, Noble Drawley said, study yourself, brother man, then go back and study yourself again. And you can't do that with religion. You need knowledge. And don't try to pray your way through it. You know, if you pray for help, your spirit's going to send you to a bookstore, so just save you $15 or $20 to go buy your book. You understand what I'm saying? You got to do the digging. You got to find out what that word means. You got to read that book. And if you don't understand it when you read it, go back and read the damn book again. You're the master, not the book. M-A-N, master, able and noble. Womb man. First man. My latest revelation is the clear fact. There's no great one, because it's very so clear. It's a wonder how we miss it. I'm standing up here. You see me, and you think that's all you see. You see my mother, and you see my daddy. I look just like both of them. The only difference, my daddy had the beard, my mama didn't. You know, I looked in my own mirror, my own face, and scared myself, man. I thought it was my daddy. You know, I jumped back. You know, I'm talking about right in my, you know what I'm saying? We are the extenuation of those whose shoulders we stand on. See? Now you can be mad at your daddy, and a lot of brothers are, because he left home. But he gave you his genetics. You see? Mama did what mama will do as to whether daddy stay home or not. She took care of your ass and fed you and clothed you, wiped your behind, put you on the lap when you cried, stayed up all night and rocked you. This is what these children need to hear about that woman at home paying their bill, and they calling her B-I-H. You know, I'm glad I ain't no school teacher, because I'd be in jail for slapping 15, 20 little Negroes, man, you know. Stuff that just makes your blood boil, you know. To hear stupidity somehow pawned off as being hip, you know. But the problem is the lap. This is where you get taught who you are. Now say boy, say boy. Now boy means biological organism of youth. Now say man. Man means master, able and noble. Now say God. God means generator, operator, destroyer. You tell it to him before he learns his alphabet. Because his soul already knows it. But his brain can't hear his soul yet. All he can do when he's this big is see angels flying around the room while your ass in there acting a fool. You understand? Mama is first teacher. Mama is first God on her lap. Logical organism of youth. Now say man. Man means master, able and noble. Now say God. God means generator, operator, destroyer. You tell it to him before he learns his alphabet. Because his soul already knows it. But his brain can't hear his soul yet. All he can do when he's this big is see angels flying around the room while your ass in there acting a fool. You understand? Yeah. Mama is first teacher. Mama is first God on her lap, on her breast. Horse, a great suckler, not Jesus, blonde-haired and blue-eyed. That's Horus, mother and son. That's what Jesus and his mama represent. If you want to know why his daddy ain't down here with him, it's about the mother and her son. Now you want to know why black men ain't doing well on planet Earth? Because they are not doing well on planet Earth. They keep doing that to their woman. And God keeps doing this to our ass. If you really want to know why, there it is. You can't take the symbol of love and misuse it and then turn around and tell some other woman you love her. You ain't lying to nobody but yourself. You know you can't lie to God. He knows what's in our hearts. And you can't pawn off your passion for your heart. That don't translate heart to heart. S-E-X is not jump jump. S-E-X is spinal energy excretion. Excuse me. Inner. Damn, it just went right out of mine. E-N-E-R. Right. Okay, let me do it right here, man. Yeah. Well, I certainly taught a better lecture on the plane than I'm doing now.
We getting it.
Real good. The codex of SEX, spinal energy excretion, which is your spermatosa and your ovum that comes from here, travels up north to the brain, feeds your brain and your nervous system, giving you balance. And the golden vital libra inside the ovum and the spermatosa that generates your spinal cord and your brain. That's Chaim Abiff in Masonic lore. That's what gives you your physical power, a golden substance. You don't have to believe me. Tomorrow night or morning you get up, turn around and look at your sheet. It's yellow. That is, if you got off that night. You know, if you didn't, it's in your drawers. Excuse my vulgarity, but I'm trying to be clear here. Okay? You need that energy up here to coat, synthesize your nervous system so that you can function, so that you're not jumpy, your nerves shot after jumping Monday to Thursday and still think you got something to give up. And the next thing you know, you get off, don't be pulling all on me. Something you mad at your woman. And then you get outside, how come I said that? How come I did that? What the hell wrong with me? You're empty. You're trying to run a car with no gas. What the hell are you understand? You jump Monday. You rest Tuesday and Wednesday. It takes 24 hours for the spermatosa to be made over. It takes 72 hours for it to travel up north. It travels up the spinal cord into the brain and then flows out to distribute itself throughout the physiological body if you want balance. Now keep on jumping every day and every night and look up and one day you can't remember your damn first name. Understand? You think with this stuff. Understand? You're not a man. You're a God. God makes power. Your body creates this stuff. If you wonder if you're creative, you create this stuff. Just like your mama created you. She gave you that body in 9 months. After 9 months, you start making noise. Now that ain't no heavy revelation until you think about it. In 9 months, this woman made a human body, pulled it out of her body, laid it on a bed. 5 seconds later, that little seed starts screaming and hollering. And about 3 months later, it's getting ready to talk. You understand? If you're looking for a miracle, well, hell, you're sitting in one. You know, if you want a reason to buy mama flowers, you know, instead of looking in and like this. You know what I'm saying? No arms. You know, there are people born with no arms. You hear me? There are people born with no legs. There's one woman on television born with no arms and no legs. If you don't think you're blessed, that is. But first you have to find out what a blessing is. See? Because you can't get no more mama down here this time. You can have 10 women called wife. You get one mama till you go up there and come back down again. Now, if you want to do that, you can do that. You know, don't get nothing done down here. Your ass will be down here in 6 weeks, screaming and kicking again and shitting all over everybody else. You understand what I'm saying? Do something while you're down here. Quit jiving. Never mind what's wrong with him and them and those. The question is, what's right with you? That's what time it is now. How much God have you become this day as compared to yesterday? How much did God tell you last night as opposed to what he didn't tell you the night before? That's being about your father's business. You know, not criticizing the sister because she got a dress on that looked like a belt, a belt around her waist, and everybody can see a birth sign. That's her business and her problem. You can't solve that. You know? I'm saying you got to have some reasons to love. Because if you keep letting dirt get in here, samskaras, dirt, it'll kill you. It ain't the fat and the pork and the cholesterol. It is samskaras, dead energy, dead thought gets in here. It will kill you dead, deader than a doornail. You got to learn how to clean this. This is where you really meet God. Because this is where you meet divine love. If ain't no love in there, ain't nothing left to be in there but what? No. Hate is a product. What gets in there ain't no love. Speak it, my brother. I'll turn you into an ass-switching coward. So you can't even speak up for yourself or your children.
Wow.
Perfect love casts out all. Well, that's a universal principle. That ain't a belief. Because if you don't get the fear out, it'll turn you out. It's about love. Reverend Biscuit got that one right. It's about wisdom. He ain't got that one right. It's about understanding and self-knowledge. Our people do not perish due to lack of knowledge. They perish due to the lack of self-knowledge. And guess what? You're going to have to do something about it. Every one of you is responsible for the more who sleep, deaf and dumb. He and she is your responsibility. Why? Because you're waking up. And you know she and he don't know shit. You know? But you got to find out how to go to them with your heart, not your head. See? Because this will turn into a monkey. You know? This will do monkey mouth. I mean, you don't know nothing. Sit your head down. You know, I know every damn thing. Huh? But you go with your heart. What happens is you get a chance to give somebody something that they wouldn't have gotten unless you came there. And guess what? The Creator will give you something back. You know? You know? You heard that verse. Can't nobody be God-given. Well, it's true. Do something to help somebody get up, raise up, and stand up, and see what God does for you. You know you're wonderful. You have to find the knowledge that tells you why you're wonderful. That's not a mantra. You're not going to become more wonderful because you keep saying it. The more you know it, the more you can express it. See? And that's important. You know, I'm going to keep striving at it here. I want you to see these, the Codex Inscriptus. Let me put this up here. The allegory, the story form. This is essential for this book. This is a symbological manuscript from Genesis chapter 1 to Revelation 22. It does not stop anywhere in between to deal with some facts that are not symbologically explained. Where is it? I wrote it on a... I really wanted to get this one. This is a tidbit. I mean, this is the stuff that lets you know the code is wonderful and relevant. I got it on the first page here. I don't think I've tried to deal with this many notes at one time in my life. Where's the other? Here it is here. I got 3 notebooks here. I'm trying to... But you can get this stuff in your head, but when you stand up and start putting that energy forward, something else happens up there along with all the academic that you might have. I'm trying to get to Genesis chapter 3. Genesis chapter 2, verse 3. Now, I was supposed to ask Brother Shabazz to tell you all to bring the Bible. I have yet to have that happen, where 50, 60% of the brothers come in here with biblos in their hand, you know. But it helps for me to be able to go look Genesis 1:3 and see what's there.
Genesis 1:3?
Oh, no, 2:3. I got it marked here. Never mind. Excuse me, I'm off there. 3:7. Listen to this carefully. And you tell me if the same thing is in that one. Genesis chapter 3, verse 7. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed leaves together and made themselves what? Don't you say nothing. And made themselves what? Huh?
Gods.
How about aprons?
Oh, aprons.
Huh? Huh? Yeah, how about aprons? Y'all know anybody who wears an apron? Okay. If you want to get over fundamentalism, get the Codex Inscriptus so you can read this book and let it make sense to you. So when you put it down, you know something. And you're no longer mesmerized by the shiny objects in the room. You understand? Okay. Fables, myths, and legends. This story, this poeticism, these wonderful and great events is how one clothes the knowledge of self in everybody's book. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Rig Vedas. There's a mathematical code in the Quran. There is a listing of symbology as the titles of the chapters in Quran. The book of the elephant, and so forth. The book of the gnat, and so forth, okay? It does not do what this book does because it wasn't needed. It had already been done in this book. The Muslim calls this Injil. He's supposed to study Injil. But instead of studying it, they did this. Yeah? Because they had the real book, you know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us Quran. Now for the believer, that's fine. But after you finish your prayer, salat, you stand up and you do this. Standing. And this means what? Make me Lord of the earth is what this means. Well, you can't be Lord and be a dummy. Because Lord means law. In order to become the Lord, you have to embody the law. And there's no such thing as an ignorant law. Put on the mind of God is what you have to do. What does that mean? Go get something. You already got it. El Fatah, open, is your work. The becoming is your work. Everything you need, you got it. If somebody says, be ye perfect, you'd have to already be perfect because you can't put pieces together to make perfect. Those are parts. Perfect is one. Undivided, unbroken, complete. Well, brother, let me tell you something. You already got it. You already are it. You just don't know it. And what I mean is, this thing here does not know it is perfect. It keeps telling you you're making mistakes. You don't know what you're doing. You can't do that. You don't know how to do that. I'm poor. I ain't got. I don't know what. That ain't where the mind of Christ works. But that's what you want to quiet in your mind. And put I can, I know how, I am. I so desire. For whatever it is you so desire, you decree it, declare it, and proclaim it. That's how you get it, because that's how you got everything else you got. As to whether you did it consciously or subconsciously, it doesn't matter. You have 3 levels of mind. The super, the conscious, and the subconscious. And you think on all 3 of them. It's what you're thinking that makes the difference. If your subconscious keeps making you make mistakes, it's because you keep telling it to do so. And as long as you tell your mind it's broken, it's going to behave like a broken mind. It's going to keep you poor, hungry, and scared. That's imperfect. Turn that shit around. I am G-O-D right now. I am master, able, and noble right now. That's your prayer for transforming yourself to G-O-D. See? And don't accept anything less than that. Stop being a servant. Stop groveling in your prayers. Claim your divinity. Claim your godhood. Claim the knowledge of the universe. Claim your wealth. Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, each and every one of you is supposed to inherit $1 million. And he said that in 1920-something. How many millionaires we got now? Hell, you can't. What do you mean not many? We got so many we can't even count them, man. Where you living at? I'm trying to tell you something. You have to get you past poverty with this. Quit thinking poor. Quit thinking I don't have it. I can't get it. Don't look up and see somebody else hit the numbers for $20 million and they tell yourself, I can't, I ain't. What the hell is you talking about? Why can't you turn around and tell yourself just the opposite? I can win 20 million. That's what the sister did when she opened up the Bible. And the Spirit told her to read those verses in that chapter. And then when she got ready to close the book, the Spirit told her, don't close that book, write them numbers down. and carried them to the window. Wait a minute, I'm talking about right here in New York. A black woman who used to scrub floors for a living. $6 million that weekend. She ain't scrubbing nobody's damn floors no more. You understand what I'm saying? You know? Quit reaching for the bottom. And the money's on top. Real money. And don't ask God for some money, because a penny is money, and He'll give you a penny if you ask for a penny. You know what I'm saying? Quit asking for cheap shit. Damn supermarket full of steaks. You go in there and buy some damn beans and rice. What is you doing? You know what I'm saying? Get up here. Why is it you don't think you're supposed to live a wonderful, pleasant, prosperous life? Who told you you wasn't supposed to do that? Nobody but you. Well, quit doing that. Yeah, quit going for the okie doke. It's okie doke. I'm poor. It's okie doke. I ain't got shit. It's okie doke. You know, I'm sick. It's okie doke. You know, I don't know shit. It's okie doke. Quit going for okie doke. You hear me? Now I'm talking to your spirit, because that's what's going to get you out of poverty. And that's what's going to get you out of hell. Is the God within yourself. That's the one you're looking for. That's your best friend. And that's the only one will be with you forever. When Jesus goes somewhere else, that God will still be there. You sure enough want to make Him and her your best friend. See? A God that will always tell you the truth. Only if you will always listen. When you stop listening, everybody starts telling you a lie. Because that's what you're looking for. When you stop listening to your own truth, take the responsibility of being God. How do you get there? One way, and one way only. By desire. You have to want to be God. You can't get there no other way. The psychological assumption automatically provides the means to fulfill the dream desire is the law of mind in action. The psychological assumption automatically provides the means to fulfill the dream desire. If you do not have the desire to become God, you are not going to become God, certainly not by accident. That's a car running over you, not God. You have to have it in here. If you want to be a servant, that's already in there. That's easy. Upgrade. You heard the statement, all grow up. Well, yeah, grow up. and find out you might be 25 feet tall. Yeah. That's the Reverend Biscuit in me coming out there. I didn't want to talk, and I'm not going to talk about the 12 tribes of Israel, but I got a whole thing on the 12 tribes of Israel. But I want you to see this layout so you'll have it on this particular chart tape. That's essentially what I wanted to do. I was conscious of not knowing that I wasn't going to get a chance to explain everything I wanted to cover, but I wanted on this tape the 12 sons of Jacob. I want you to watch, look at this. Look at Judah's name. You see that? Now look at Judah's, wait a minute. Now look at Judah's name. What's the difference? Very good, young lady. Very astute. That's what we talk about when we talk about intuition. Look at Asher's name. Look at that. Look at Asher's name. You see it? Look at Zebulon. You see it? Look at Zebulon. Now these are in Revelations chapter 7. Spelled this way. These are in Genesis chapter 49. Spelled this way. Those are not the same. That's what I'll point out in showing you how these 12 names represent the 12 signs of zodiac. The 12 names of Israel are the 12 constellations of our solar universe. The 12 sons of Jacob are the 12 signs of earth. That's everybody, not just black folks. And you need to know that, because you're supposed to be preparing to live on planet Earth and not in New York. You're an international human being. You have always been one. Start acting like it. Quit letting somebody yank your strings and your chains. Pass by you and look at you hard. Oh, hunky. You know, he just manipulated you. If he can make you think like that, he's making you think the way he thinks. Don't be small and petty. You know? That's a Negro's mind. I hope you're looking for God's mind after today, knowing that you can well obtain it. If there's a revelation for today, you can well obtain the mind of God. And you're supposed to have it. What'll get you there faster than anything else? A heart full of love will get you there faster than any technique on the planet. You can sit down with a heart full of love, and your God will transform you in a day. You don't have to do this. Oh, God, send me love. You already got it. Your heart is sealed up, so it won't come out. Get your heart and heart chakra open. El Fatiha. El Fatah, open. Your woman is supposed to help you do that. If she quit putting the leg on you and give you her heart. Did you know you can lay on that woman's stomach and she can take you to heaven? So try that some night instead of jumping up and down. Just lay there and go on up. You know, just lay there and let her take you on up. Is that easy? I'm talking from experience. Just laid there. And she took me on up. You know? Wonderful woman you got. and my generation went chasing that white girl like she had barbecue lips. Show you how dumb we were. You know? Yeah. You know, we got the best human being to get into bed with. And we went and chased the carbon copy. You know? But we paid for it. So ignorance has a price as well as wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Manasseh is here. Manasseh is not here. Ephraim is there. Ephraim is not there. Okay? See what I'm showing you there? Okay, now I'm not going to stand here and call out all these names because I don't think I need to do that. I'm not talking to grade schoolers. You know, you all are a mature group of people, so I can afford to simply expose you to certain conceptualizations. Aries, the ram, that's your head. That's Gad, and Gad is what? God. Thank you. Can everybody mentally see that? All right, okay. We're talking Codex Inscriptus, okay? Now, I'm doing this so you do two things. You know the way into the secret chamber, and you know that you're supposed to go there. And with this knowledge, you'll know how to go there, and you should. Because once you get this knowledge, you're responsible for delivering that truth. Now, keep this in mind, and this is important. Don't take this and go beat your brother and your sister up with it. You walk up to a young brother, a young sister, they're not supposed to know this, but that don't mean they're going to act like they don't. They're going to act like they know it. And you got to agree with them to get them to learn it. Then you're going to find out what a teacher is. Yeah. To talk to that one. Teach that one. I know every damn thing. What you want to talk about? Huh? Go tell him and her something. Well, what do you tell him? You tell him one thing. What's your name? Shuts the mouth. How many letters are in your name? Shuts the mouth. What is a man? Shuts the mouth. When the mouth shuts, this opens. Okay? What I'm saying is this. That's bullshit about they can't be taught. Creativity will show you how. Understand, they're down here because they came to learn. Where's the teacher? I'm not talking about the brother getting a salary. You know, damn teacher. That's a flunky. Excuse me, y'all, if you're in the school system, but y'all know y'all ain't doing shit. You know? I mean, it's all we got. But that ain't all we should have. You don't need a classroom to teach a young brother one-on-one. You need to know what to teach him. And you need to be patient. Because you're dealing with the whole head is sick. You know? And all you got to do is say the wrong thing and punch the wrong button. He mad at you and 16 other black men. So you learn how to heal by love and to teach by love. And learn when to be silent. Sometimes the teacher must shut his damn mouth. You know? We don't know everything. Here's my hand. Believe me when I say this. I don't want to know everything. That's the Creator's job. You know? My job is to know what I find
and report. That's all I'm responsible for. You world saviors, get down off of that animal. That ain't your work. Ain't nobody sending you to save the world. Save who you can. The rest is the responsibility of the Creator. This is not your creation. You're just a participant. Participate with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But you must participate for the good of us all. Okay, I'm going to show all 12 of these, so they'll be on this thing here, because I want you to have accessibility to this knowledge. The lamb, the ram, the I am, the head. The lamb is the pituitary gland, the Lamb of God. Let me see if I've gone past them. Or, let me see here. Oh, yeah. Zanoni. I got to deal with Zanoni, otherwise I'm neglecting the star. Let me flip through this stuff here. Let me get this. I can do this better here. Does anybody see Zanoni up there anywhere? It's called swastika in, yeah. Zanoni.
The ancient Tibetan.
Child of the sun, Zanoni. You see it up there? Well, I'm going to show it to you in a minute. And this is important because in form, having the form of godliness, but not according to accurate knowledge, is what Paul said. And you have the form of God, but not according to accurate knowledge. It's the wrong book. Come over here, my brother. Stand sideways, over here. Stand sideways. Okay. Stand. Ball of your fist. Raise your other arm up. No, just right there. Hold it right there. All right. Now, with your strongest leg, squat halfway, medium weight, squat. A little more. Now, get your balance. Okay. Now, raise your right leg behind you. There is Zanoni. Swastika. See it? All right. Okay. That's the star that formed Allah, who came out of nothingness. Okay, thank you, my brother. Hand me that thickest book over there. Okay, I want to get these up here too. I got too much stuff up here on this counter here. Okay. Are you all familiar with the 12 great fears? Okay, let's get that up here, because this is the stuff that's in your way and why it ain't so easy to get there. The 12 great fears. The fear of the loss of one's love. The fear of death. The fear of hunger. The fear of poverty. The fear of criticism. The fear of sickness and disease. Dis-ease, you see down there at the bottom. That's a whole different concept. It tells you disease begins in the mind as a mental disorder. The fear of failure. the fear of rejection, the fear of suffering, the fear of the devil, the fear of the loss of one's soul, and the fear of pain. And added is the fear of being black, which there isn't any. Or rather, the fear of being ignorant. There's no fear there. But this is the stuff that gets in here and turns to a fine dirt. I'm talking about your thoughts become physical stuff that settles on your heart center, on your glands, on your brain lobes, turns it dark gray. When it accumulates and the Spirit shows it to you, you'll see black spots on your white brain. That's dead dirt killing those parts of your brain. That's what you have to clean off. Your brain is supposed to be white, not gray. That's human physiological talk about gray matter. The brain is supposed to be clean. When it's clean, the whole brain will function. When you get the mouth of God open, the medulla oblongata, the substance will pour out into your vertebrae and will be pulled up into the brain, where this other 90% of your cerebrium will function. It doesn't have anything to function with. You need your spiritual substance in the rest of your brain to get those faculties operative and something to function with. That's a part of putting on the mind of Christ. The Christ man, woman uses the whole brain to think with, which then gives her and him two brains. This is the whole brain. This is a whole brain. Becoming God is what we're talking about. Okay. Okay, I think that's all we got in that booklet. I think I've explained this on other tapes, but that's of no consequence. The Great Seal. When a Moor says Islam, brother, this is what a Moor is saying. I, self, law, and master is I-S-L-A-M. The I is here. Your soul's I, not the ego. You know, you got to fight to keep the ego from reaching up and claiming, I am God. I have done all things. Watch it, because as soon as your first challenge is when your spirit walks you off to the side and you hear the back of your brain saying, I can do anything. I can get that sister. All I got to do is think it. I'm talking about experience now. What goes on back here in Satan's seat. Hmm? I could rob a bank if I wanted. Huh? Iago. Huh? Iago. If you want to know why Othello is so important. Othello, the play, gives you a look at the Moor and his subconscious and his ego dealing with his woman who is divine love, Desdemona. Huh? And what does he do to his beloved? No, first what does he do? He accuses her after praising her. This nigger, you understand? Othello the Moor then turns right around in the same poem and accuses her of sleeping with the guards in the damn barn. That's like, who told him that? Iago. Ego. That's who the twisted hunchback is in Othello. It is your ego who stands on the right-hand side of the king and Othello and whispers to the king, "What is the black ram doing to the white hue?" and drives the king crazy. Then he goes in to Othello's chambers and stands on the right side. It is rumored Desdemona was seen out in the barn with the guards. And he slinks off. And this Negro goes crazy. Literally loses it. Calls this woman into his chamber. After he'd made this wonderful rendering of this marvelous poem of how wonderful she is, how precious and perfect his beloved is, but then he says what? But if. That's all it was. But if this man kills his beloved. You understand? That's the ego in the more. And what its distorted view of love is. You see? Because he had on the wrong mind. Hand me that apple. Did you ever find a knife? Anybody ever come up with a knife? I need a knife. This is a Macintosh apple. I'm getting ready to show you the face of God in this apple.
Bowie knife, huh? Bowie knife.
Bowie knife. Yeah, good. Very good. All right. All right. Now this is what the brother used to carry. I hope I'm doing this right. All the table's still. Okay.
Strapped down, huh?
Yeah, okay. Okay. Here, come and get your sword, my brother. Thank you very kindly. Now, you can't see it that clearly, particularly from there. That's a 5-pointed star in the center of the Macintosh apple. The symbol of the morning star. That's a star out there generating and fueling energy so that we can have food down here. You see? Keeping our bodies warm. You see? So we can have heat in this part of solar system. See? Cleansing the body. Transforming the vitamin D into melanin through your brain just by shining on it. You know, no matter if the European only has a teaspoonful, you know, but it still works on him too. And the ones that don't have any or a little bit, because you can't live if you don't have some melanin, still are benefited by the sun. You see? If you wonder why the accusation is that the Egyptians worshiped the sun, they weren't worshiping the sun. They were acknowledging the divine symbol of the God within themselves. When your soul opens, it'll look just like that soul up there. And don't you stop meditating until it does. Because that's your nature you're seeing every morning. And sometimes that office turns a tinted rose red. That's when it's sending you love. And if you be still, you can feel it. You have the same love inside. But you got to get this open. I'm not talking about your heart. I'm talking about your soul which sits just above your heart chakra, up here. If you focus here, you can feel it. You can feel it when it starts opening. If it opens suddenly, you'll probably pass out. That's how wonderful that is. Just to feel your soul express in your body is enough to send you into samadhi, into ecstasy. Or take you all the way to the Pyramid of Giza and put you in the coffin of Osiris, like it did Isaac in Cleveland. Laid down and did Tao, closed his eyes, relaxed, shot right out the window in the astral, not the physical, all the way to the pyramid. You know, first try. You know, he trusted inside. You know, he said he was scared, but the experience was too wonderful to let go. You know, be about the business of becoming God. You know? And the money will come. But open up your avenues so the Creator can give you your money where it's supposed to come from. Not your damn job. You ain't gonna get no $5 million for 8 hours a day. You understand what I'm saying? Get open here. Let the Creator give you something. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. The grace of Allah. That's the giver. You don't earn that. Oprah ain't earning no damn money. God is just giving it to her. Giving it. Every time she say, whoa, that's enough, give her some more. Give her some more. This is Sojourner Truth. Yeah, who didn't get anything for what she did last time. She spent her whole life helping that white boy last time. Teaching him to be a human being. That's what she did. And now, the universe is giving it back to her in gold and silver. That's Sojourner Truth that you see every afternoon at 4 o'clock. With a great big old angel standing behind her. So y'all won't be fucking with her. You know what I'm saying? Protected. God's approval. God's standard with her 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what you're supposed to be about. That's your work. Let the white boy do the computer. You do God. You know? And the damn computer. I ain't talking about quit your job. Keep your damn job. You know? But don't look for 20 million on your damn paycheck. Go elsewhere for that check. But do go in here. In here. Ask. Those that have asked God for $1 million, raise your hand right now. All right. Some have. You're supposed to ask. You know what else you're supposed to do? You're supposed to keep asking and claiming until when?
Actually, I asked for $1 billion.
That's all right. You're a little bit in somebody else's territory. You're in Enron's territory now. You know, he asked for $3 billion, and they got it, but they ripped it off. But you can't keep it. Be practical, be sensible, and be serious about being prosperous. Quit pretending that money don't matter. Who in the hell are you talking to? You know?
It's the biggest reason we get divorced.
One of them. The other reason is this, it's closed. I'm telling you what the problem is, brother. It is our hearts. The black man got his nuts stuck in his heart. He's talking about hard on when he says heart. You can't love nobody from here. It's in here. This is down south. This is the east. This is up north. This is the west. You're right in here. Approximately about that big. Unless you've been working on it. Okay. The practical side of spirituality is only one. Become God. Don't do like the brother in Detroit. Sent him one of the finest spiritual books in the world with the secrets in the book. You know what this Negro did? Called me back and said, brother, can you tell me about a book on how to meditate? I done sent him and his wife half my damn tapes. And I'm teaching meditation on every tape. Pisces. He don't want to close his eyes because he's scared. I know what the problem is. Because what he's going to find out, he already God. Yeah? And some of you, all you have to do is get quiet. And God will just open up. You don't have to do nothing. In fact, real meditation is to do absolutely nothing. But what you discover in meditation practice is how big you really are. Then you discover how much God really loves you. I mean, that's a heart-to-heart thing. I'm not talking about what Reverend Biscuit talking about. I'm talking about the God inside that really loves you, that will trip you to put you on the right path, that will yank your paycheck out of your hand and give it away by the pressing on your nuts and make you do dumb stuff. So you'll get down on your knees, because that's all most of our folks know to do, to ask for God's help. We'll tear up your world to get you to come inside. But all you got to do is close your eyes, and you're on your way. Okay? I want to have at least a 15-minute meditation period here. I didn't get all of what I wanted done. I wanted to deal fully with this chart here because I have them available, but what I'm finding out is a few spots on here are not clear. Like here, this is supposed to be an image of a web. That's why the word, her web is above it, and Hebrew is beneath it. I already talked about the 12 glands in the physical body. On those charts, you can see Malachi chapter 2, verse 4. The Son of Righteousness with power in his wings is the Caduceus, the ancient Kemetic staff of Tehuti, Lord of the earth. That is Kundalini, going up your spinal cord, attaching itself to your medulla oblongata. Those are the cords of eternal life. You want to raise up the Uraeus as Moses raised up the serpent in the desert, is what that particular verse is talking about. Okay? Ra, in Hebrews chapter 12:29, it states, our God is a consuming fire. That part of divine nature that burns up all the dirt pours out of the spinal column through the medulla oblongata. When this little cap on the ball on top of your medulla opens, this substance pours out and comes into the physical body and burns all this crap off your centers. That's the consuming fire of your God. Okay? Now you find that out in the quiet of your sanctuary. Spirit ain't gonna do that while you're riding on the bus. or driving down the street. You got to get somewhere where you are one and alone with your God. Up in the right-hand corner on this chart, you'll see a hand, and the verse is Job 37:7. He sealeth up the hand of every man, that he might know his works. There's a palm tree in your hand that tells you what you've inherited, left hand. What you're doing with it, right hand. Okay? So the science of palmistry works. You got to get a competent psalmist or palmist to do that, but it works nonetheless. And I think you need to know that much about yourself. Okay, let me deal with the hypotenuse. It's on the chart in the left-hand corner on the lower part, the right-hand side of the chart, the lower part, in the corner, you'll see this. This is L, length. This is A, angle. This is W, width. Law, L-A-W. Okay. Peace, my brother. Okay. The angle of things, because this is also the square. Okay. We've already dealt with the 4 squares based on this word and name. Why this is not our name is essentially key. Five and 2 is 7. 4 sevens. Look at 4 sevens. 1 7. 2 sevens. 3 sevens. 4 sevens. Nanoni. Okay. Star Child. Nanoni. Okay. The rendering of the concept Egyptian in the Metaphysical Dictionary is worth your attention. I won't stop and read it now, though I intended to, but you can find it in this wonderful dictionary. You need this if you're a student.
What dictionary?
The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary by Charles Fillmore. Okay. Luke 11:52, the key of knowledge is mentioned in the book of Luke. Most Christians don't even know that in this book there is a key of knowledge. That's what we're talking about. The number 12 and the 7. Those are the keys. Exodus 28:45, the 12 signs by name. I won't do square in the circle, because that would take me into a whole nother area of explanation. The pineal gland and the pineal gland, Genesis 32:30 to 32. The sciatic nervous system, Genesis 32:25. The power of imagination, Genesis chapter 11, 1 and 6. The key to how to use your mind is in Genesis chapter 11, verse 1 through 6.
Genesis.
The creative aspect of your brain is imagination. You have the highest developed imaginative faculty of any group of people on this planet. How do we know that? Look at the art of Kemet. Just look at the art. That's in your genetic code. That's power expressing. Okay? But imagine a good thing instead of a vain thing. That is, imagine success instead of failure, wealth instead of poverty, good health instead of sickness. All the negatives are a vain thing in the eyes of God. I shall open my mouth in parable. Matthew chapter 13, verse 35, and speak of things hidden from the beginning of the world. I was supposed to read that earlier. Like I said, I got off. And one verse will knock your socks off. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 5. O slave, obey your earthly master. Did you know that was in that book? Has nothing to do with slaves or masters. Your slaves, your servants, are your glands. Your earthly master is you. The master of the body is the mind. You are the Lord of mind and body. You are the master of your own mind. When your glands obey you, then you call your glands your friends. Okay? Other than that, they are your enemies. Malachi 3:17 concerning those jewels I mentioned about Jews. You find that in Malachi. The King's Gate is the top of your head in the scriptures. Centric, but code formation. Okay, take a couple of minutes and we're going to deal with a 15-minute meditational practice. I got to go to the restroom. Thank you.